How's it going? This is Sherrod Seward, sports and entertainment and professional immigration attorney, specializing in P1 and O-1 visas for athletes and entertainers around the world. And let's get past the accolades and get into what we are talking about today, which is the renewal season. Typically, renewals, if you're thinking in layman's terms, you're like, well, I'm just renewing my visa. It's not going to be that much work. And reality, that used to be the case where maybe 4 or 5 years ago, if you had a renewal for a visa, you can just simply send in the approval notice, some new filing fees, and a short brief, and you'd be able to get at least 1 year of the renewal on that visa. And then if you added some more information, you can get the full length for P1 would be 5 years, or an O1 would be 3 years. But these days are different and it's much more challenging. And the first thing is, what even constitutes a renewal? Nowadays, everything about the petition needs to be the exact same in order to get the treatment of a renewal. And what that treatment is there's regulations out there and suggestions to USCIS that they're supposed to basically give respect to a previous approval that was made under the same circumstances. But if the circumstances are different at all, then they will not. And what are the specifics about what kind of circumstances will be different? One is if you have a change in petitioner, then yes, there will absolutely need to be a new petition. It's not a renewal. If there's a change in the activities that you will be doing, then absolutely, well, that's not absolutely, but there's a good chance that USCIS will not just adjudicate it as a regular straightforward petition and ask you to provide information so it can be reviewed again. And that's even on some things where, like, if you're a boxer and you are now fighting on your promoters a little bit different or something like that, or even if your opponents are different, they could still come in and say, hey, we're not going to adhere to the previous adjudication because your itinerary is different. And sometimes things happen to where you are now competing or doing something slightly different than what you were doing when you first did the petition. So if you were a data scientist, but now you're an AI, or if you were a mixed martial artist, but now you're doing bare knuckle boxing. If it's an activity that was outside of what your original job title was when you applied, then you absolutely need to do a new petition, or they'll adjudicate it as a new petition and it won't get the treatment as a renewal, which is much easier in process. So to reiterate, if you are doing a visa renewal and you'll think it'd be a very straightforward process for your immigration attorney, think again, unless all things are the same, which is your exact activities, job title, and parties involved are the exact same without changes. It is highly likely that USCIS will review the petition as a new petition, and everything will have to be redone with bolster arguments under this new environment, which is very strict on visas. So that's why if you go get a renewal and your immigration attorney says this is pretty much a new petition, he's almost, or he or she is almost entirely correct, as there's usually something that changes in these visa categories that would give the leeway for USCIS adjudication officers not to adhere to the previous approval. Sorry to deliver the bad news, but I'm going to tell it to you straight. See you next time.